It's time for breaking bread with Papa. Hey, don't you know? Hey, it's our goal. Hey, it's time for breaking bread with Papa. Hey, don't you know? Hey, it's also a show. Hey.
Joey, look at you. What a gentleman. You look great.
Papa, it's lunchtime. It's Thursday. The week is over. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Remember, the week would be, usually the week would be starting for us right now. This is our week.
Isn't it weird?
Week is over. That's it. Week is over now.
You feel like just a working guy. You're like, oh, weekends actually mean time off for me now.
Yeah. I leave you now. I go home. I hang with the daughter. I read 2 books. And then we come back to the studio and we do a podcast about science for her. Just to get her, you know what I'm saying? We started before the fucking whole pandemic. So this kept us strongest. I give her $40 a month. I give her the small 40, $10 a podcast. We got fake sponsors. And she gives the mother 20 as a vig and 20 for her to keep. And that's
amazing. How old is she?
7. I got her
7.
Right, you know.
That's amazing. Good for you. What's the name of it?
What, the podcast Science with Mercy.
That's so great. Oh, man. I know. It really is kind of a strange thing. It's like... to just be, and I have to say, are you feeling this as well, where you have, it's weird. Yeah, you want to go back to performing. As soon as they say it, we're going to be running out of the door. But it has been kind of a nice forced sabbatical in a way. Kind of like, why shouldn't you hang with the family for a little bit?
Listen, everybody needed to do this. It's time for you to get to know your wife again. It's time for you to get to know your kids again. I said from the beginning that there was going to be a silver lining to all this. Mm-hmm. And this is making friends stronger. You're going to find out who's not your fucking friend.
Yeah.
And this is going to this is going to let you know what you want to do and not want to do.
Right.
If you think I want to get on a plane and go somewhere, I'm not going to go do dick. And you figure out when Fauci comes up with a pill, because I don't like needles, so I'm not going for the vaccine for the needle, okay? I don't like needles, and they usually give them to you in the arm, intramuscular, and that shit drives me fucking crazy. I give blood. I've trained myself after 40. By the age of 46, I had the blood down. I don't have to faint. I bring Santana, Abraxas. I bring it on my iPod, and I look the other way. I make her put me in the room with windows.
Right.
Because if there's no windows, I go down like a bad fucking habit. I just go down. So, and I got given blood down. Every time I go, he tells me, you're 50. You're due for a tetanus shot. You think I'm going to be jumping fences? Get away from me for the fucking tetanus shot. Fucking Dalia got it. He said his arm hurt for 3 weeks. And he's skinny and he's in health. Can you imagine I got a tetanus shot? Fuck you. So I avoid I haven't gotten a flu shot since I swam in the Hudson. Once you swim in the Hudson on the Puerto Rican side, you're good for life. That's all you need. You even get like a little vaccination on your arm, like a little crab bites you from the Hudson. That's your little vaccination mark and shit. I'm done. Fuck Fauci and his bullshit.
There is something to that. There is something to growing up that way, East Coast, Hudson River. It's like you were exposed to so much stuff. You have to think, like, the way of like washing your hands your whole life is just had to make people weaker at some point.
You know, we fly. I knew our immune systems as comics because planes, let's face it, and let's let the people at home know. For the last 20 years, I've been flying. Yeah. And those planes are getting filthier and filthier and filthier. And it's not them. It's also the model of people that go on planes are getting filthier, rotten ass, no socks, flip-flops. People don't do their hair. When I first started flying in the fucking 70s, you flew with a suit on.
Right,
you flew with a suit on. It was a big event for your family. I remember going to Puerto Rico and like a fucking tuxedo on at the fucking airport in Kennedy Airport. Everybody flew. You flew because you had style. You had class.
Yeah.
And now you get these guys with the guy with the guitar. He's sitting in 29B. You paid for his shit ticket. If you ain't Led Zeppelin, leave your guitar at home or leave it in the fucking check-in. They're not gonna break it. You're in some fucking Momo band. You know, we've just planes. So my immune system is good. I'm a little older. I'm worried about this with my daughter. I'm worried about this, that I may have had it. I mean, I had everything. I had chlamydia and it went away. I must have had the herp along the line. I must have had hepatitis C from smoking crack. That went away on its own.
Yeah.
I'm fine. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
I'll wear the mask.
Anything to worry about.
Yeah. I'm fine.
I know. I got offered to do a gig, and I would have to fly there in June. And part of me thinks, are you kidding? Like, it's safer now than when we were doing it in March. Like, we were flying everywhere, meet and greets, hugging people coming up. And, I mean, now it seems like it would be safer than anything we did back then.
I bought mace for the shows. You come up to me for a fucking handshake or a picture, I'm macing you. Old school. The word gets out. He maces motherfuckers. Don't wait by the back door because you ain't going to get shit either. You're going to get maced back there, too.
So this time when you've been home with the family for more than you have in your entire adult life, what's the food situation? What's the cooking? What's going on?
I got to be honest with you. I've been with my wife for 20 years. I had to train her from scratch. Like, you know, adjust little things. When I met her, she used margarine. You know, she's white. So you gotta straighten them out sometimes. White people don't know. They don't know. They use, you know, instead of using Hellman's mayonnaise, they use the Miracle Whip. White people are a little confused. You gotta, like, steer them to the right direction. When you start dating a white chick, you gotta start throwing things out. You know what I'm saying? Jelly for toast in the morning. That's not allowed. Why do we have jelly here? What is this? So I had to start from scratch with my wife.
Right.
But to do that, I had to turn her on to my world, of what I was talking about.
Right.
So I had to take her to Cuban joints that rocked. You know, especially out here, it's tough. There's no really good Italian out here except, you know. So I tried to take her to places that understood what the fuck food I like to eat, you know? What kind of flavor here, you know? I don't like what everybody likes. I don't like Mediterranean food.
No.
I do like Jimmy Wazir, the one on the Vine, the chicken with the, but they give you hummus on the plate. I never take the hummus. I don't like Thai food. You know, I'm an old school New Yorker. When I got to New York from Cuba, there's no Thai food. It was Chinese, all right? So I'm dedicated to the Chinese. That's it.
Right.
They were first. Then, like in 76, a couple sushi places opened up, but they weren't really sushi places. They were Japanese steakhouses. Mount Fuji.
I remember Mount Fuji.
Mount Fuji was a chain in New Jersey.
That's right.
$15.99, steak and a drink and a pineapple, and then you puked on your date. You know what I'm saying? Every time I took a girl there in high school, she ended up puking. Here I'm hoping she drinks.
But you went in high school because they didn't card you.
They didn't card you. They didn't give a fuck. So you took them to there. You figure she drinks a zombie. She's drinking my sperm. No. An hour later, she's crying. The mother's picking her up. What'd you give my daughter? None. She had a taste of a zombie. But I
You
told
took her
her
to Mount Fuji. You took her to Mount Fuji, didn't you?
I took her to Mount Fuji with the coupon.
When you were growing up, East Coast, were you born there, or did you came over when you were a kid?
I came over when I was a kid, but my mother was a very big. The reason why she died at 48 was because she was a big eater on the run. She knew where the best steak was in New York.
Right.
I still remember going to Fire Island in the 70s to get clams on a half shell with her.
Ooh.
Like, just off a fucking hunch. Like, she would say, fuck it. We're at a Met game. We're halfway there. Let's go. And we would go to Fire Island, and she turned me on how to put horseradish. I'd be like 8, and she let me drink beer.
Wow.
Because if you ate the horseradish, I want you to taste it with the cocktail sauce and shit.
Oh, yeah.
She used to take me to a Chinese restaurant named Billy Hung's. Billy Hung's was the best Chinese restaurant in New York, okay, by far.
Where was it?
It was like on the 30s or the 40s, big time, 60s. $33 for a lobster egg roll that would make your fucking hair stand up. A lobster egg roll that you never tasted anything like that.
Oh my God!
And we spent so much money there when I was a kid, and I first came from Cuba, that they put a picture of my father up when he died. That's how much they liked my family. Like Sinatra's picture was there, like all these celebrities. And when my mother told them that my father died, they said, "Bring in a picture. We want to put a picture of him up."
Wow!
So for years, I was a Billy Hung guy.
Wow!
Do you remember Tad's Steakhouse in New York City?
Yeah, sure.
Remember those fucking dumps? $9.95. You got a steak, but if you tip the guy a $5 at the steak guy, he'd give you the real steak. Yeah. All the Australians got kangaroo meat and fucking whatever. But if you were white and you gave the guy a fin and winked at him, he'd pull you a nice T-bone from the bottom. You got a baked potato. You got a salad.
Yeah.
You got
my grandfather
garlic
loved
bread.
it.
Yeah, garlic bread. And then you got the Jell-O with the cubes. There were Jell-O cubes with some fucking whipped cream. Tremendous.
For dessert. Yeah, if you see movies about New York in the 70s that were shot in New York, you always see a Tad's Steakhouse sign in the background somewhere.
And then when I lived in San Francisco in '85, they had a Tad's.
Oh, really?
I was in shock. Yeah, like it's in the Tenderloin. It's sold.
Right.
It's done now. It's done.
Now, was there cooking at home? Was your mom? Did she cook Cuban stuff when you were at home, or were you pretty much out and about?
When I was growing up, my mom cooked Cuban stuff, and there was stuff I tolerated, like anything else. I got to like it as it went along. But when I was like 6, I got into this. I would earn money at her bar. She had a bar, and I could go there and pick up a 20 by cleaning toilets, stocking the beers. So there was nights where she would cook like red beans, and I didn't like red beans. And my mother, her girlfriends, and my stepfather would be watching the news, and all of a sudden there'd be a knock on the door. And they would look at each other. All of a sudden I'd come out with like my little fucking faggy football pajamas on and shit. And I go, "It's for me." And they go, "Who the fuck is knocking on the door?" I would order Chicken Delight. Don't cook tonight. Call Chicken Delight.
I love
the 3-piece with the crinkle cut fries, the jelly. I used to dip the French fries in the jelly. That's how retarded I was. And the bun that tastes like ass, stapled, 2 dishes stapled. When I would eat the Chicken Delight, I could see my mom's soul break. Because there was a rule in my house, no fast food. So I could only eat fast food when I went to Miami by my cousin's house. They would go for McDonald's. So I would stock up on my fast food consumption down there. But when I was in New York, there was no fast food.
Chicken Delight.
When I was in New York, there was no deli, there was no Subway, none of that shit. You had to go to the Italian guy and pick the cold cuts, and he didn't weigh the cold cuts. He looked at you, and if you weighed 300, he made you a fucking sandwich. Yeah, they didn't weigh cold cuts back then, and and before every cold cut, they let you taste what's sliced. Like they give you as they're cutting. The guy would give you a thin slice of fucking prosciutto. Everything he put on the sandwich, you get a slice of. That's old school,
The best. I know. There was no. Yeah, God, man, we really kind of. When you're in New York, it's hard to find those places now. There's they still have them like on Arthur Avenue and a couple places downtown, but that used to be the dominant thing, were those Italian delis and the Jewish delis, and they just operated in a different way. It was so tied to their heritage. They were only like one generation away from coming over, so it was so rooted in it, and now. I don't know. It just feels a little bit more like a shopping mall filled with, even if a place is good, it doesn't have the roots that it had back then.
You know what, man? We've cleaned things up a little too much. See, in the 70s, we ate food, and the guy made it with his hands, and he just wiped his ass. He just wiped his ass. Nobody said nothing. You get a food with a piece of hair in it, you ate it. You didn't. Excuse me. Mrs. Waiter, there's a hair in my food. The guy would look at you and take it out right in front of you. All right, it's gone. Now what? Well, I want another. You get nothing. His hair, no big deal. But now everybody's on the sanitation thing. You know, I used to hang out with the Ledizio's. Ledizio is a huge restaurant in Boulder. There were 4 brothers. They all got federally indicted. They went to jail. The most interesting Italian people I've ever met in my life. Leonardo, Antonio, Raimundo. All their restaurants were in points of interest. Boulder, San Francisco, New York, and Miami. They were all Coke distribution points, right? And they had restaurants. But the most famous one was Raimundo's in Miami. Like, if you go in the 70s, you went to Florida, you got a table at Raimundo's. That was the joint. So these motherfuckers, let me tell you what these motherfuckers did. They refused to go to jail. They got sentenced. Then they had a bail hearing, and they all got on cruise ships and hired fucking captains and went around the world. They were loaded with money from selling Coke in the restaurants.
Oh my
and
God.
They just went around the world going to different ports. I know their children. I know Antonio. And the kids would have a teacher on the cruise ship.
Jeez.
And they would only go to places where we didn't have deals for extradition. And
God.
they did that until they finally cut a deal from the ocean. All
Out
4
at
brothers
sea?
turned themselves in, cut a deal like for 6 years. And then I used to work at a car wash in Boulder when I was in the halfway house. And I used to go home, and there was this restaurant at Ledizio, and it fucking had that New York smell to it. Here I am in Boulder, Colorado. I'm like, what the fuck? So I would go in there, and I would get the arrabbiata. It was this nice, white-looking woman, very sweet, looked like your mom type.
Right.
I go, can I get the arrabbiata to go? And she'd look at me like, to go? Really? I gotta go. And then I went in there like once a week to go. And then one day,
Why to go? Why to go?
I'll tell you why. Because I
Okay.
was in the halfway house.
Oh.
So she came to me one day at the car wash, and I go, how you doing, Mrs. L? I'm gonna take care of you. Don't worry about it. And I give her the ticket, and she goes, can I ask you a personal question? How come you always take food to go? Because I knew she was also a preacher. She had like a church thing. She was like one of those people that talked in a certain religion,
Right.
like some Christian, whatever it is. I don't know. So I go, you want me to tell you why the truth? I'm in the fucking halfway house. She goes, you are? She goes, which one? I go, Boulder. And she goes, oh my God, my husband's on his way to Boulder. She goes, any day now. How is it there? You know, how are the rules there? How are and I go, it's going to be fine. You know, I'll let you know. And one day I came in from work, and there's this little chubby Italian dude sitting there with fucking the mustache, the whole getup. And I look over and I go, are you Antonio? And he looked at me, he goes, who's asking? I go, no worries. And I got back in my car and I went to his wife and I go, he's at the fucking correction. He's at the BCTC. Give me a plate. Give me a box of food. They loaded arrabbiata. We got wine in there, Pellegrino, bread, butter, knives. And I just walked it in. I go, I'm Joey Diaz. I gave it to him. He was like, what the fuck is going on here? I go, I'm friends with your wife. It's a long fucking story. And I became friends with them. And they have, it's like going to Boulder, Colorado and being in the Bronx. And this guy cooks anything. And he speaks Spanish. He'll cook Cuban for you, too. He's Italian. He'll cook Cuban.
Oh,
the
that's
name of the
amazing.
restaurant now is the Mediterranean.
Right.
But he still sells pizza. He's like 80
It's
now.
God. That's like a scene out of Goodfellas. Like you walk in, like the food.
Oh, my
is
God. And after that, I became his fuck, and I could do what I want. I could walk into the restaurant and tell the cooks to make what I want. There's no tab. There's no fucking tab. Like, I became friends with his baker, who I'm still dear friends with.
Who's
His
that?
baker, he had a baker that used to bake on Monday nights. And I used to do comedy in those days on Tuesday nights. I used to be a host of a
Right.
triple run night in Boulder. So I would have to have 5 new minutes every Tuesday.
Oh yeah.
So what I would do is I would make notes all week, and then on Monday nights, I would go to Ledizio and sit there and write while he baked, and he'd feed me all the mistakes. So what do you think about this rum amaretto cake? It needs more rum. Fuck! So I'd sit there just eating fucking mistakes all night.
That's amazing.
Fucking, chocolate mousses, all those really good Italian desserts like fucking Zambolian and fucking cannolis. And so I would eat 10 of them at night. I wouldn't even sleep. Like I used to do coke 6 nights a week. The only night I didn't do coke was Monday because I was with him. Because I'd be up all night just eating desserts all night. But in those days, I was also swimming at 6:15 in the morning.
Wow.
I was lifting weights. You walk a lot. Boulders are very, very, when you look on Boulder's newspaper of things to do, it doesn't say Tom Papa's in town. It says midnight yoga class at Centurion Park at midnight. And you go there, there'll be 60 people there.
Right.
60 idiots to do fucking yoga in front of a full moon. You know what I'm saying? But what are you going to do? That's what people are into. I'm not mad at you.
Boulder.
It's Boulder.
It's so funny, Joey, because you have this Cuban heritage, but you're one of the most Italian people that I know. Like you just have an Italian essence, an Italian love of food. The first time that you and I really met and was when we were involved in the Analyze That movie.
Right.
And it was all mobsters and Italians. And every time I see you, we always talk about where we're going to eat and if we could possibly get back to the East Coast at the same time and go to Fairfield together. And there's this great, and you're always have like a great restaurant to tell me about. Do you feel a real connection with the Italian people?
Remember years ago, there was a bad expression going around, wigger. And I'm not an Italian wannabe. What happened was, when I went to Jersey, I was blessed with the gift of having Italian love shown to me. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of different ways of love. Italian love is a weird love. Mm-hmm. And I didn't put it all together till I watched the Sinatra biography, part 1 and 2 on HBO.
It's great.
I grew up with Hoboken Italians that moved on up to North Bergen.
Got it.
You know what I'm saying? They moved on up. But there's something very interesting in that documentary that at one time, if you were Italian, you were not allowed above 9th Street. The Irish wouldn't allow you above 9th Street.
Right.
And that set a tone with me because now I understood the kids I grew up with. I'm Cuban and I got Cuban balls, but I consider myself a Cuban with an Italian's heart, a Jew cup, and like fucking real Guinea fucking balls. Like, like it's so, because they did so much for me as a human being. I've learned so many things from Italians. I always wanted to be a brick mason. Who are the best brick masons in the world? There's nobody better than fucking Italians.
Right.
And if you work with them, I think of those words 3 times a week. The guy couldn't speak English, so he would just yell, "Morta! Morta!" It's mortar, you fuck. but he would say, "Morta! Morta!" And when I worked with him, I used to watch how this guy ate, his culture. Mm-hmm. He ate 8 times a day. But they were very small Italian meals.
Uh-huh.
He even brought a glass of wine with saran wrap. His wife would saran wrap it for him. So at 4, he would drink his little fucking wine for the last hour of work. I didn't know this guy personally. I took a job with him in 85. I had been around Italians all my life.
Right.
But he really showed me the true culture of 8 o'clock, he had a Taylor ham and egg with the rest of us.
Right.
But at 10, he would have 4 peppers and a piece of cheese. All right? And then at lunchtime, he would have a little pasta, 4 ounces. 4 or 5 ounces of pasta with meat sauce and a stick of bread.
Right.
And then at 2 o'clock came out the salami, the prosciutto, and another piece of cheese, and a cup of wine. And then and then he closed out before we left. He would eat something, some type of Italian cookies in a tin. He would take like 3. I'm only allowed to 3 the cookies. 3 cookies. They stay strong. 3 cookies.
Right. This is while doing brickwork.
Yeah, bro, doing brickwork. I mean, when my mother died, so many of the Italian kids reached out.
Right.
And they didn't just reach out and say, hey, we're sorry about your mother. They asked me if I could move in with them.
How old were you?
16. Now, I was the spick fuck of the neighborhood, but all these Italians invited me in because in their minds, and I know they didn't think this, Tom Papa, but in their psyche, they would look at me, my dead mother, and it would blow their heads because what is the most popular word in Italian culture?
Mama.
Mama.
Yeah. It's true.
So they all took to me. Like, they protected me.
It must have been devastating for you.
Yes. So subconsciously, without even knowing, these fucking crazy Italians became my backbone.
Right.
They kept me alive. They fed me. They made me laugh when I needed to laugh.
Was it the kind of neighborhood where you would go in and out of their homes, kind of a thing? That opened
in and
door?
out.
Yeah.
And listen, dog. I had to deal with a motherfucker that I would let him ride my motorcycle if I went to his house on Wednesdays and ate spaghetti with ricotta and fucking the whole thing. Okay, all right. That's how my deal started. I went to his house one day, and his parents owned a deli in Hoboken.
Uh-huh.
And you go to somebody's house, and the mom will offer you Kool-Aid. You know what I'm saying? Like, you go to a white kid's house, like, we have Kool-Aid, grape,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh. When you went to this motherfucker's house, they would say, like, you want a sandwich? And then they would take out, they had a slicer in the fucking kitchen. And they would just whip up a sandwich for you. And, like you had a fucking hoagie.
Yeah.
And God forbid you would. I have a whole story about this particular Italian family because I loved them dearly.
Right.
And they took me in. But way before they took me in, I was torturing them. The food in their house was so fucking good. Her name was Anna Bender, God rest her soul, and his name was Jimmy Bender, God rest his soul.
Right.
She was Sicilian, he was from Lithuania.
Okay.
But he was Italian. He grew up in fucking Hoboken around all the fucking Italians. So
yeah.
I would hang out with their son, and then we had a deal. I could come over on Wednesdays if you ride my motorcycle. And they would have the big fucking container of polio in the middle of the table.
The ricotta.
And then they'd have the sauce. So they don't really give you the spaghetti with sauce on it, but then you put the extra meatballs and sausage. And I remember eating, like I would be eating, and they had 3 boys and a girl, and the parents would just watch me eat. And whenever I would look my head up, they'd go, "Good country, America, huh?" So then, this is the best, Tom Papa. So Tom Papa, I knew they always had. The father was a great dude.
Yeah.
He took me in when my mother died, but this is 2 years before they took me in.
Uh-huh.
At nights, let's say I'm talking about your father. Me and
Okay.
you are Goombas, and we hang out, and I go to your house and eat and hang out with you. I hang out with your brother. Your sister cuts my hair. I was that tight with them.
Yeah.
So I would see him out at like 12:30. I'd be hungry, right? And I'd see my buddy from the family, John,
Yeah.
out. And I go, "What's up, dog?" And he'd give me a hug. "What are you doing?" "Nothing." I go, "What are you doing?" He didn't drink or do drugs, nothing. John was straight arrow.
Right.
He goes, "I'm going to stay here. I'm going to try to fuck this chick." And I go, "Are you going to stay out late tonight?" He go, "Yeah." I'm not going to. I go, "All right, I'll call for you in the morning. Where do you think I would go?" It'd be 1 a.m, and I would run to his house to see if I could see the father watching the TV, right?
Yeah.
And I would walk up the steps, and I would knock on the door real gently, and Mr. Bender would open the door. Coco, what's going on? What's the problem? And I go, nothing. I wanted to see if John was home. He's like, nah, John's not home. I don't know where that fucking lunatic went. And then it would take just a pause, and he would go, you hungry? And I go, no, but I'll eat with you. This happened 4 nights a week. Because as soon as I got there, I would catch him. You know when you're watching something and you're like, I got 2 options. I can either go to sleep or eat something and finish this. That was my option. I always caught him as he was thinking about falling asleep. I would rattle him. Were you sleeping, Mr. Bender? Nah, not at all. I was just watching TV.
Come in. You hungry?
And then he would hit me with, nah, John's not home. I don't know where that fucking idiot is. And then he would look around. He'd go, you hungry? Papa, and then I took it an extra mile. Then my mother died, and I moved in with him.
Wow.
Okay? They took me in as one of their own. They treated me like their own. They loved me. I loved them. This is the funniest thing I would do. On Sundays, about 5, I'd be watching football, and I'm like, man, I'm fucking hungry. But they'd make, like, spaghetti and meatballs.
Yeah.
And we already ate already, and it'd be like, let's say, not 5. It'd be like maybe 8 o'clock. Okay? And I knew a good movie was coming. Like, I was with him when John Lennon got shot.
Uh-huh.
Like, me and Mr. Bender were watching Monday Night Football. Even though he had 3 other boys, I would hang out a lot with him.
Wow.
When I would come home
That's
at
great.
night, I would try to act straight and watch TV with him. But on Sunday nights, if I was bored and I was hungry, they didn't have caller ID in those days. So I would call the local pizza place, the good one. And I go, how you doing? This is Jimmy Bender. Bring me over a pie with extra cheese. And they go, all right over, Mr. Bender, and hang up the phone. And I'd wait like 20 minutes. All of a sudden I hear a knock on the door. And I could hear Mr. Bender going, who the fuck is this? Like walking towards the door. And the guy would go, here you go, Mr. Bender. What's this? And the guy would go, the pizza you ordered. He goes, I didn't order no pizza. And he would go, yes, you did. And all of a sudden he'd go, hold on, Anna! Because the wife would be in the back room. He'd go, Anna, did you order a pie? And she'd go, why would I order a fucking pie? I didn't order no pie. But the guy was so cool. I'd be standing there, he'd look at me, and then he'd go, how much for the pie? Give me the fucking thing. And he'd just take the pie. So I would just order pies, and he'd pay for them. And then he would sit there the whole hour. Who the fuck would send me a pie? I didn't touch the phone. I would sit there. I don't know.
I don't know how it happened. So how long did you live with them?
About 18 months.
Oh, yeah?
18 months. Then my life went a different direction. They asked me to leave. I still stayed as tight as I could with them. I'm still tight with one of the brothers, really, really tight.
Still in Jersey?
Yeah, still in Jersey.
Yeah.
The one guy that I moved in to be tight with, it's one of those situations where you want to apologize, but it's not going to make a difference.
Yeah.
The damage was done. There's a lot of people you go to the past and apologize to, and they'd say, I understood what happened. Not with this.
No.
Nah.
Yeah. Yeah, some things are too big.
And I really wanted to go apologize to the mother. I was going to go there in the daytime when nobody was around and bring her flowers, but she ended up dying last year. Before the corona. I was going to try to do it when I went back in May.
Right,
So-
right. Yeah. Yeah, but lives kind of take those turns and stuff, and if you had all of that history with them and all of that depth, it's like, that's what family is essentially. There's people in your family who, you lose touch because of events and different things like that, but they're still a part of your family. There's no way, good or bad, they're part of the history, they're part of the fabric, and you're part of them, and it's just the way it goes sometimes.
I feel really bad. During the first part of this pandemic, I had like a nervous breakdown. I was talking to a friend of mine. I told him that one night I'd found myself in the bathroom, like, shaking with the lights off. It was like 3 hours of hell. It was like an acid trip gone bad.
Really?
And it was just, I'd been in the house since March 2nd.
Mm-hmm.
And at night, my wife goes to bed at 9 o'clock.
Right.
So from 9 to 12, it's just me and these fucking four walls.
Right.
I don't want to watch TV. I don't want to watch fucking Ozarks. I'm not watching Joe Exotic, all right? I'm not a fucking ass. I'm not watching none of that shit. And so I go in the back and I write, and I'm trying to put stuff together. And all of a sudden, this is the first time, like I say, during this pandemic, that people have had a chance to think.
Yeah.
A lot of people, on the way here, I saw 2 U-Haul trucks. A lot of people are rethinking their lives right now.
Yeah, where to live, what to do.
Is this what we're going to do? I mean, how many jobs were lost alone in the entertainment business? I think my wife said 98,000 or
wow.
something, I mean, it's just so, I don't even know how we got to this subject, about this depressing subject.
You had a strange night in the bathroom.
And yeah, it was just, sometimes you have to check on your skeletons, or they check on you.
Yeah.
But it wasn't skeletons that were bothering me. It was like me. I have a sister in Cuba I don't talk to.
Uh-huh.
And a couple of years ago, I called her and I said, listen, let's just cut the charade.
Yeah.
Why don't I sponsor you, and you come over, and I could take you to Mom's grave. I could take you to California. You can meet my daughter.
Yeah.
Fly you around. We'll go to New York, see the streets your mom used to fucking walk.
Uh-huh.
And she's like, nah, I don't want to go to the United States. So I kind of lost contact with her after that. My feelings got hurt. So it was things like that.
Yeah.
Dumb things like that got to me. That how can I live my life and not even talk to my fucking sister?
Yeah.
I have a daughter I don't talk to. I have a 31-year-old daughter I haven't had contact with in 25 years. How did something like this happen?
Right. Yeah.
So it was just a lot of shit came up.
Yeah.
I was pushing my wife away during the pandemic because I read that people were going to start beating up their wives and kicking them and shit. So I tried to avoid my wife. And
you thought it was just going to happen?
I just thought, I'm going to snap and throw out a window. And it just so happened that the opposite. We've become tied of them in this pandemic.
Oh, that's nice.
I've loved them more than ever. I got to understand I always respected teachers. Teachers are number one,
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because at the end of the week, when you and I went to school in New York, when you and I were going to school at the end of the week, considering our parents' schedule, they spent more time than us, than our parents did.
Yeah, sure.
When I was a kid, it was 7 to 3:30, and if you stayed for band practice or you played the flute, whatever the fuck you did,
right.
But you're around, and they trusted you with them. And what are you home? You get home at 5. Your father walks in at 6, and you go to bed at 9:30. They see you 3 hours. You're at school 6 or 7 hours. So
yeah,
I've always had the utmost respect for fucking teachers.
Right.
How do we get on this? Oh, I don't even know. This reef is too good. You know what I'm saying? This is just too good.
Look, when you, I think that the isolation, especially as a comedian, it's kind of shifted, and it makes you've taken a breath that you haven't taken a breath in 20 years. So, of course, the people around you start to value certain relationships more, and other ones, like you say, like you start drifting down into the past, and they all have their stories and their place, and you're just really you're reading the story of the last 20 years.
20 years,
yeah, for the first time.
But don't get me wrong, Tom Papa. You know me, I'm not a violin. Isolation does nothing for me. I'm an only child, and I went to prison. I wiped my ass with this shit. You could put me on an island by myself, bring me chicken cutlets, not even Parmesan, just nice deep fried chicken cutlets, mashed potatoes, cream corn, a pound of weed, and Netflix, and you won't hear from me for 2 years. You know what I'm saying? A notebook.
So if your wife
dumbbells.
if your wife is a margarine Miracle Whip lineage, are you doing most of the cooking in the house during all this?
I don't touch a fucking piece of cooking.
You don't?
I put toast in the toaster at night if I get too high and put butter on it. Or I wait for you to give me a piece of bread.
It's funny.
You know what, man?
For how much you love food, I'm surprised you haven't.
There's two reasons.
Gotten into it.
There's two things I adore more than comedy, and I've always been scared to dabble in it. One is cooking.
Right.
I know that in my heart, I would be one of the best chefs around.
I
4 or 5
believe
years,
that.
if I got all the characteristics. First of all, I'm a fat. If I see a skinny chef, I don't want to do business with you. That means you ain't shit. That means you're cooking shit that ain't got no minerals in it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I want to see a chef that's 2 weeks from going to the 600-pound man. That's the motherfucker I want. Drinking vodka, sweating on the spaghetti.
Right.
That's a chef, okay?
Yeah.
Not that good-looking guy, Look at me. Get the fuck out of here.
You want a guy who's close to a heart attack.
You got
or
time
a
to do
stroke.
crunches. Yeah. If you got time to do crunches, you ain't no chef.
No.
Real chefs are eating. They're trying shit in the afternoon. They're going to bars. Anthony Bourdain, God rest his soul. That guy was skinny as fuck. I heard that motherfucker could eat like a gorilla.
Yeah.
I heard he could eat like a gorilla. Somebody told me that, bro, he could eat like a gorilla.
Yeah.
Like 3 Joey Diaz meals. And alcohol. And not fucking burp. Not even burp. I had 2 Sicilian slices yesterday when I left here, and I rode home. My wife was coming back from the beach with the baby. I wanted to do some type of exercise for the day. So with the 2 Sicilian slices in my stomach, I got on my bicycle with the fucking face mask on, and I went for a ride. You're lucky I'm here. You're lucky you're not on a view. You're not identifying my body. Let me tell you something. I sweat from every orifice. When I got home, I had to just lay there on the floor with my shirt off, and then the helmet didn't come off because I'm a half a fag. I got a red helmet. I couldn't figure out how to take the helmet off. Then I started having anxiety, and I went to fucking take my shorts off, and the knot got caught, so I couldn't even take my dick out to piss. So by the time I took it out, I couldn't even pull the skin back on the turtleneck, so it was flapping out like one of those 4th of July hoses. I pissed all over my pants. Then I finally got the fucking helmet off. You have no idea. People have no idea what my life consists of. I'm supposed to do a video for CBS. I got to look halfway hot. So my wife says, listen, you're not looking hot at all. You got to figure out your life. So I got a suntan. I shaved. I put skin cream on. I go to this is shit that can only happen to me.
Yeah.
I go to Walgreens. I buy the hair color for men.
Oh, God.
The whatever, darker than whatever. I'm not looking for the mustache one or whatever. I don't want to color my pubes. I just want to color my hair because the white comes through on the fucking Zoom real fast. So I fucking take the shit out. I don't read nothing. So I take the shit out and I put it in my head. I come out of the shower and my hair's completely white, right? I'm like, what the fuck just happened? So I look in the tube and there's a black tube and I go, oh, maybe that's a tube for your like little sideburns and shit.
Oh no.
So my wife comes out, she goes, are you retarded? That tube, you're supposed to put it in the other tube and mix it. So I had to go back and I went and I mixed it and look what happened. Now I look like Elvis. I didn't want it this dark. I just want like a little gray, just to, you know what I'm saying? I got problems. Tom Papa, we all got problems.
You should have stopped at the 2 Sicilian slices. You would have
2 Sicilian slices, 94 degrees. I decide to get on a mountain bike. I'm on the other side of NoHo praying that if I get home, I'm going to light this bike on fire. What possess? Just because I want to Weight Watcher points. I'm on points, so you got to maintain your points every day.
Oh, no.
So I said, let me go for a little ride. I got a little ride, but after that, I had the worst fucking agita. I didn't eat shit after that. No heartburn, no nothing.
Oh, brutal.
The only Italian food I don't eat is eggplant. I don't like eggplant.
Oh, you don't?
And baklava. I don't.
What
like
about a
that
nice eggplant parmesan?
No, I take the cheese off and then give you the eggplant. I'll take the nice cheese off and give you the eggplant.
I make a pretty mean eggplant parmesan. Very thinly sliced, very thin sauce cheese.
Just something about it. Never liked it. When
little
we came from
seeds.
Cuba, my mom had a dry cleaner in the Bronx for a while.
Oh, yeah.
Off of Tremont Avenue. And it was, the food, the pizza, the sandwiches, everything was great. Want me to tell you what I like, but I feel guilty eating it? Veal scallopini.
Oh, yeah. I know.
If somebody cuts it just slightly thin, it melts. There ain't shit like veal scallopini, but I get guilty.
I know you feel guilty.
Eggplant. I don't like broccoli. I don't like none of that shit. But I like some wild. I used to go with my Italian buddies to Seaside Park.
Oh, yeah.
Before you cross the bridge in Tom's River, you get the fucking the crab cages, and you set them. And then you go to the beach, you smoke pot, you get your dick sucked. On the way back, you pull the crab cages out. You get like 18 of those Jersey radioactive crabs. Let me tell you something. You go home, you get that sauce boiling, you throw those crabs in there alive. You can hear them screaming in the sauce. You give it an hour or two, it dissolves. The crab dissolves in the sauce. And it's a flavor you never had before in your life. A little spicy seafood crab salad.
Oh boy.
A gravy right now, my dick would get hard for 2 fucking days. I wouldn't even need Viagra. I'll tell you what dish changed my life as a Cuban. I'll tell you what dish, if I could get the ingredients, I would make it every day because I knew I wouldn't get COVID. There's one dish that the Italians make that is the best dish in the world for you. I lifted weights, and I think I put on like 12 pounds of muscle eating this same dish every day, and it's called pasta fazool.
Oh.
And I don't like it fresh. I like for you to cook it, put it in the freezer for a month, then give it to me when everything settles. And that's stronger than Viagra. You could kill a crack hoe with dick. You could just dick somebody to death. Like, the cops will come. We don't even understand what happened. What happened? I had a quart of pasta fazool. This guy told me the Nick sucked, and I just kept slapping him with my dick till he died. You know what I'm saying? I love pasta fazool. I love a nice.
Good. My grandmother used to make that.
I love it.
Yeah.
Love it. I could eat it every day.
Yeah.
Every day I could eat it. And then you go to Gelson's on Laurel Canyon.
Yeah.
Get that pasta fazool. You want to go home and get your M20 and shoot the whole place fucking down. If this is fucking barbecue beans and a piece of lettuce from the back, you fuck. And they charge you $13 for the fucking quart. It costs $2 to make a whole thing of pasta fazool.
That's right.
All you gotta get is get the dog to bring a pork bone home from somewhere. Throw it in that fucking thing. What's that green you put in it? It's not arugula.
Escarole.
It's escarole.
Escarole.
Once the escarole meets the beans, forget it.
Yeah.
Forget it.
Forget it.
Forget it. Forget it. Protein, fucking, the flu, nothing hits you. Nothing. Bullets bounce off you.
It's one of those dishes that it's so simple that who's ever making it, you can tell how good of a cook they are. Because if they can make that simple dish great, they know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing. That's it.
Yeah.
What was Steve Martin looking for in what's the mob movie he made?
Oh,
My Blue Heaven, Arugula.
Arugula.
You mean to tell me you don't have arugula?
What was the place that you always say that if we're in New York at the same time that you wanted to take me in Jersey? Some Italian place.
There's a place I've been going to since I was 16. My loyalty is with them. They served me when I was young on Monday nights. It's called Rudy's. It's just a regular bar that you go into, family run for the last 70 years.
Right.
And by far, that's the best calamari you're ever going to have.
Oh, really?
It's cornmeal and something else, and
Yeah.
and they have it in. They give you medium, sweet, or hot sauce. So I mix the hot with the medium. I like the medium, and guess what I get there? When I get there, I don't pig out.
No.
I get an order. I get a whole order of calamar with fried shrimp,
Ooh.
extra done, extra
Nice.
burnt, and I get the pasta fazool. I get a couple of pasta fazool, and I get the seafood salad, which is basically no points and Weight Watchers. It's
Right.
just fucking big. It's just fucking big, and it's scungili, octopus. It's the whole fucking thing with the fucking olive oil and garlic. It's tremendous. That's what I eat. I don't eat pasta there.
Oh,
I
really?
will never eat pasta there. No.
Oh, interesting.
And
Oh,
then
the
I-
seafood salad, if it's done right. I make that on
Oh, no. You know
on
what I'm talking
Christmas
about.
Eve. Oh, yeah.
Right. You know which one I'm
Chopped up
talking
with
about.
like the celery greens.
Yes,
And
that's the
garlic,
one.
oil,
Real
vinegar.
Italian-y, really, with everything, with the tentacles from the octopus. Oh, I throw that shit down like a motherfucker. And then there's
getting
another place I go to in North Bergen.
Uh-huh.
I like to say with the Sabarintinos. It's on 76 by Hudson County Park. The best spaghetti and little meatballs I've ever had in my life.
Oh, really? Little
They have
meatballs?
a dish called spaghetti with little meatballs. Oh my fucking God. And they mix like a little light, they go up in there like with a cream.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I have a real pride in where I came from, the food,
Yeah.
the pizza, the Chinese food, the Italian food. I take Pino's Pizzeria when I was growing up. When I was a kid, I was scared to live in my house. When I was in the 6th grade, I thought my house was haunted. So my mother made arrangements for me to stay in Union City on 26th and Central. And on 22nd and Central, there was a little Italian bakery. And this guy made the skinny Italian breads,
Yeah.
the long tube ones.
Yeah,
you
the
can't make a
sticks.
sandwich with the sticks.
Yeah.
You can only make a pepperoni sandwich with it, like the pepperoni stick. I would go there every morning before school. I would get a fucking 2 of the sticks. I would get a bag of Zeppelis, a stick of hotel bar butter, and a 64-ounce Coke. And I wouldn't go to school till I ate that whole stick of butter with the 2 pieces of bread and the Zeppelis. That was my breakfast.
This was on your way to school?
Before school in the 6th grade. I would eat a whole bag of Zeppelis.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. What do you mean you thought your house was haunted?
When I lived in North Bergen, I had the house we moved into.
Yeah.
I lived in the attic, and at night it was just, my mother had the bar at night,
Right.
and my stepfather was running his shit, so I would be up there by myself, and I would just hear things, and I could have sworn the house was haunted. And
Wow.
I just
Did you ever
would go
see
to
anything?
I saw. It wasn't more as seeing as feeling.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Feeling.
yeah.
And here's the weirdest thing. That was when I was in the 6th grade, so I was 12. I
Yeah.
just got out of. I went to Catholic school to the 5th grade. So in the 6th grade, I moved out for about a year. I would stop at the house in the afternoon just to get clothes for the next day,
Right.
take a shower, and I would go to my mother's bar, hang out there, eat dinner, and then I would walk to 26th Street, and they were a family, and I'd hang out with them, and we'd curse and yell and listen to Richard Pryor till midnight.
Yeah.
But every morning me and the kid would go get the same thing for breakfast. Hotel bar butter. You could get a whole stick for like a dime in those days. 2 pieces of bread, bag of Zeppelis, and
Oh, my God.
a fucking
This is the best.
a 64-ounce Coke.
That's so crazy.
That's diabetes. That's everything all in one shot. That's
That's
one-stop
insane.
shopping. Clogged arteries, diabetes. Fucking, what happens to the Italians when they get your feet gout?
Gout.
That's everything.
All those
That's
salty
just-
meats.
All those salty meat. That's everything, all in one fucking bout. But that's how I was always enamored. You know, it's so weird how somebody says a racist remark around you. You know, especially, were you from New York or Boston?
Jersey.
So you hear a couple racist remarks they make around you when you were like 12 or 13,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden one day they're like, I'm going to a Knick game. I can't wait to go see this African-American play. And you're like, the other day, you know, so it's really weird how cultures
Yeah.
sometimes unite through food. Like my mother was
Yeah.
living example. She took an Irish neighborhood and put a Cuban bar in there, and they ate Cuban food.
Right.
They came in there at lunchtime and ordered Cuban food. They loved it. For them, it
Yeah.
was, you know, for blue collar people,
Right.
Cuban food is for fucking granola people with, I love Thai Vietnamese. You know, go fuck yourself. We just fought them in a war. You know what I'm saying? You want to go eat Vietnam food? You don't think they're mad? What's the matter with you?
Was it, you know, when you talk, you know, whenever we talk food together, which we do a lot, it's always like leans towards the Italian stuff. But was the Cuban a big part of it also? I mean, if your
Love
mom,
Cuban food. Love
Yeah.
my mom's food.
Yeah.
And here's the situation. And I'm seeing it now with my daughter. You know, when you're a kid, you don't know. We make statements. Yuck, I would never eat that.
right?
I would give a finger for 5 of my mother's meals right now. This one will be picadillo, which is ground beef with potatoes and olives over white rice. I would give you this finger. This finger would be calves brains, sliced thin, cooked like Italian chicken cutlets, sprinkled with lemon on top. You don't even know. I can tell you they're chicken cutlets. Eat them. You're like, these are the best chicken cutlets I've ever had. They're calves brains, jerk off. You know, people always say to me, you don't like hummus, because I've been eating hummus since before your father even thought of fucking your mother in the ass. Before your father thought of fucking your mother in the ass, I was already eating hummus. Garbanzos, okay? Cubans eat garbanzos.
Right.
We don't have times to smash them. That's for Arabs. We don't have time to sit in a tub and smash them. So we eat them whole. But Cubans make a dish called garbanzo frito, fried garbanzos. That'll make your fucking, if you like hummus, you'll throw it away. It's like garbanzos, and they
Right.
cook it in a it's weird what they cook it, but with chorizo and onions and peppers, and you put it over white rice.
Oh boy.
Garbanzo fritos, I would give the middle finger for, and this one for her carne con papa, number 25 on the Versailles menu, just regular beef with potatoes, the way she did it, and that's not, and I'm not
Wow.
even talking about the chicken fricassee de pollo. I'm not even talking about paella.
Yeah.
I'm not even talking about her boliche. Boliche is
Oh my God.
the Yankee pot roast. You take a pot roast, you bore out the middle, and you put a piece of Spanish sausage from Spain in the middle. Then
No.
you tie it up and you cook it, and the flavor from the sausage goes into the meat. And when you slice that over the white rice,
Oh my
and
God.
you get some three fried bananas and a Heineken with a cold glass.
Oh.
What do you have to tell me that's more important than this?
Yeah.
What is it that you got to tell me? You want to suck my dick? Anybody can suck my dick. I'm talking about right now. I'm you understand what I'm trying to say to you? What do you want to tell me? I got a cold glass that's fucking frozen with a Heineken, and you want to come over here and talk to me about an audition of a movie you got in 2021? What do you want to talk to me about?
Can you get that out here? Is there any place in LA that's good Cuban food? It's
No.
not really. There's not a lot of Cuban
They're all
culture here.
sixes. It's like Chinese out here. I'm not one of these guys that's gonna sit here and go, "Oh, you know, I'm no bagels," and those idiots from New York drive you crazy. Well, they got no fucking bagels. They got no fucking pizza. You're a grown man. You're 30 years old with a Mickey Mouse shirt on. Get your fucking life together. So,
yeah. But the Cuban food's not here?
I like El Cochinito.
Uh-huh.
But let me tell you what I get in El Cochinito. See, every place when I go to a restaurant in New York, the first time I throw a jab at you. I want to see what you're about.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start off with something light. All right, if it's Chinese, let's go with the pork fried rice, egg drop soup, and an egg roll.
Right.
If you fuck that up, why go any further?
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. 100%.
When you go into when I see somebody going into an Italian place the first time, and he orders something that's far out there,
right.
I go, how could you order that? Try this first and see if they pass the test.
Yeah, try the gnocchi or the
Try the gnocchi or the escarole or whatever.
Yeah.
But in L.A., Los Angeles, I love living here, great city, the whole thing. But nobody has a complete Yankee lineup. That not everything is good. So if I go to El Cochinito, I know to get the pork chunks. Get the pork chunks with the black beans and rice and the fried bananas. Get some white sangria. If you order anything else, you're on your own. But they also have Cuban-style Chinese fried rice.
Ooh.
Put you over the top.
Really?
Because they show on the bottom of every Cuban menu, there's always Chinese rice. They always have something because the Chinese were a big part of the Cuban culture. It was the biggest Chinatown outside of China till 1959 when Fidel took over. So there's a big Chinese influence in Cuba, and especially in some of their menus and stuff.
Right. Oh, that's cool. So El Chorrito.
El Cochinito. And so
Cochinito.
El Cochinito on Sunset. Chinese, I'm a green apple guy up in the Studio City.
Yeah, that's a good spot.
Tremendous French style filet mignon. Here I am. Only in California do you go to a Chinese restaurant to get French style filet mignon.
That's so true.
It's delicious, but they got a great garlic fried rice. The Oulian fried rice is very good. Heaven chicken's very good. The chicken dumplings fried are good.
Yeah.
They're only a point weight watches. Not the shumai, but the shrimp thing, like a shumai with shrimp is good. Mm-hmm. But you're not going to get the shrimp and lobster sauce there.
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying to you?
Yeah. It's so
for Italian.
This is why I really regret you and I not being in New York at the same time. And we've got to figure it out. When this is all over, and either I will fly, when I know you're shooting something or doing a show, I will fly and meet you.
I want to go up to Arthur Avenue before I go.
Yes, me too.
That's why I want to go one last time. I didn't go this time. I didn't go the time before, but I went the time before.
That would be great.
And I like walking around that neighborhood.
Yeah.
That neighborhood does something for me. It's good for my soul.
We could do some real damage there.
I never went up to Brooklyn too much except what's the steakhouse?
Peter Luger?
Peter Luger's. I just went there this year with Ari. I think I went twice with Ari. We got to meet there. You got to get the 4:45. That's the only time they got open. But it's good because I don't want to eat meat at 9 o'clock at night.
I know that's the thing. The meat after the show is a big mistake.
Too much. It's too much at this age. And then you go back to the room, and it's a bad Law and Order, and all of a sudden you're fucking having a heart attack. What the fuck is this shit?
Right, exactly.
But
it's so funny. Well,
what are your plans for the rest of the year? As of right now, what is Tom Papa's plan is till December? Is Tom Papa thinking of going out? Are you thinking of doing planes? Are you?
I'm thinking of doing some planes. I think I'm going to, if the places are run the right way, and I think that it's okay. I don't know how. We'll have to see about long flights, but if I can hit stuff, like an hour, hour and a half, and then go do a couple nights in a Salt Lake City or in Arizona or Northern California, I'll do some of those.
So you're not thinking about 5-hour flights.
I've got stuff on the books through the fall, but I don't know if in my head I'm kind of content with just continuing and doing a much reduced schedule. I don't want to keep my hopes up that I'm going to just go back to what I was doing before all this.
I'm going to travel, but I think I'm just going to stay here.
Uh-huh.
I think I'm just going to stay here. The baby likes me at home.
Yeah,
on the weekends. I think I might be in Brea next weekend.
Oh, yeah?
If they open up Orange County, I don't mean to be rude. I just want to give you a name of a restaurant I want you to try if you're down there. Fucking tremendous. They delivered sandwiches here yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
Fucking tremendous. Uncle Paulie's Deli. The guy's name
Uncle Paulie's. I'm writing
is
it down.
John Buscemi. He's got a Uncle Paulie's on the edge of Billy Hills, and he's got an Uncle Paulie's downtown L.A. This guy's just been calling people, feeding sandwiches. He's doing a hell of a job. This is the second time in 6 months that he's brought sandwiches up here.
Oh, yeah?
He brings the spicy Italian. The bread is on the money.
Really?
He brought fucking Steve Simone a chicken palm. He brought us 4 sandwiches. Chicken palm. Listen to what he brought. Listen to this combination. Eggplant palm with baklava, whatever. Baklava.
Yeah, broccoli rabe.
And provolone cheese.
Oh.
Steve Simone said it was out of this fucking world.
Broccoli rabe on a sandwich. I didn't even think about that until like 2 years ago, and I had it in Philadelphia. I forget the name of this sandwich place, and they put broccoli rabe on the sandwich. It blew my mind. I was like, how are we not having this on every single sandwich? Isn't it amazing you live your whole life and get to this point and be like, oh, this has been out in the world this whole time, and I had nobody told me? What happened?
Do you have a time limit?
Yeah, we're gonna wrap in a bit.
No, 2 minutes. I just want to ask you one more question. Have you been cooking a lot at the house?
Yeah, I'm cooking a lot.
90%?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you been ordering out at all?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where have you been ordering from?
I get from Tony's Mexican Grill.
Tremendous. They're great.
Tremendous. They're
Tremendous.
my favorite Mexican.
How great
place.
is the fruit cup?
Oh,
at the
best.
end. Is that class? Is that class?
With the little sauce?
With the white sauce on? And you can buy the container to go. I've gone in there and bought 2 containers of fruit to go. And I've eaten them with the cream.
In the world.
The best fruit in the world.
It's a
salmon tomorrow. Tomorrow's salmon. Friday. For the Catholics, they respect you.
That's
so they
right.
make you salmon. And
Yeah.
Fucking tremendous.
Oh, it's just a family-run shop. It's in the valley. It's no frills. Probably 10 tables in there. The best Mexican food you'll find.
Where else have you been eating from?
Oh, the best.
Well,
I know you don't. You're not a big fan of the Mediterranean food, and I don't get it that often. But Carnival on Woodman is a Lebanese family runs this place. Amazing falafel, chicken kebabs. Their rice is amazing. Great place. Really great place. Italian deli place that we get from Domingo's in
that's where we were
Encino.
going.
You know that place?
That's where we go, yeah.
Yeah, that place.
Wife goes
The
early.
spicy dom, the sandwich, the spicy dom.
Tremendous.
And that makes the Yankee lineup.
I was going up there and getting the cold cuts, making the sandwiches at the house at night, But then you don't want to eat that many cold cuts either. After a week or two, you're like, I don't want to eat that many cold cuts. So
Yeah.
because
no,
I
you gotta
fucking
break it
love
up.
salami.
Yeah. Oh my
love
God.
salami. That's my addiction.
Salami.
I've given up peanut butter. I've given up cocaine. I've given up dirty bitches. I've given up crack. I've given up everything. Salami, that I can't find a support group for salami lovers.
Joey,
Right or wrong?
my nickname as a child was Tommy Salami.
No.
Yes. Because I ate so
Bro,
much salami sandwiches, salami just at the refrigerator. Forget it. I still to
I
this
like
day.
Genoa. I like anything.
Any of it.
When I first went to Colorado, I was so embarrassed. I've never told this. I'm telling you because you're Italian, and I need to apologize to every Italian for doing this. I love salami so much that when I went to Colorado in '83. Remember, I went to Basalt and Aspen in '83.
Yeah.
There was ham, cheese. There was no mortadella up there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you weren't going to find this shit.
Super hot.
There wasn't no super side up there. There wasn't no gabagool. None of that shit. So I had to actually buy, and to this day, like, it pains me in my heart. Like, when I die and I get judged, St. Peter's going to talk to me about kidnapping, and he's going to talk to me about robbing this one guy and maybe lying to a nun, but he's going to go, what about that time you ate the Oscar Mayer Genoa salami? You know? That is, real Italians don't eat Oscar Mayer. I used to have to cut it into pieces and mix it into a salad.
Oh.
And I would make believe I wasn't really eating it, but I love salami that much.
That's okay. I think St. Peter's going to give you a pass.
I'm sorry to Italian people. I love you. I let you down. But it was 34 years ago.
And look, that was in Boulder, Colorado. If you'd done that on Arthur Avenue, you'd have a problem.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Joey, you're the best.
Thank you very much for having me on.
I'm going to have you multiple times. And
Okay.
when we're able to actually sit
Get
down
together, yeah.
and I can give you some bread and we can break open some wine and just enjoy ourselves. That's what that's when I'm going to know that life is back to normal. When you and
I always loved you.
together.
I always loved you. I had a certain respect for you. But after that night on Conan, when you were like, have a piece of bread, what's it going to do to you? I was like, I fucking love this motherfucker. Thank God for Thompson. Now every time I see a piece of bread, fuck! Not the whole loaf, but just a little piece with butter and eat. It's not going to fucking kill you.
Yeah, live your life. Come
So
on.
thank you for giving me some advice and for taking the stick out of my ass.
You're the
I
best,
love you.
Joey.
My best to your family and your daughters and the cats and everybody.
You too. I'll
Thank
talk
you,
to you
sir.
real soon.
Thank you, brother.
You're the best.